Yes, we are back. Look, Facebook is not feeling anything that I'm doing tonight. I apologize. Facebook is not feeling anything that I'm doing tonight, but it's all good. We back. Thanks for continuing to tune in. We only go be on for like another 20 minutes, but Kemp, I want you to finalize the whole before we got cut off by Facebook, the whole political thing that we was talking about with Biden Trump, real quick.
Sure. So, as we embark on another election, and where the choices lie, when we consider what the lesser of two evils are, from the perspective of labor, the only choice that I see is not about who's a nice guy or who's a lesser of a nice guy, or who has an agenda and who doesn't have an agenda. I tend to believe that historically, the political process has not been inclusive for us in general. I believe that to our detriment, we have a lot of black representatives who don't have our best interest. I believe that money has diluted the opportunity for real progress in lower communities or communities of color. And I believe that in this election, it is more about class warfare than it is about anything else. If you wanted an identification, is the reason, as the brother touched on prior, why they were so complicit in getting Bernie out of there, when all of the energy, the real energy of the people was behind Bernie. They did everything in their power to suppress the Bernie-crats. And most people, I believe, would have had a certain amount of willingness to support Bernie against a Trump. But the political establishment on any end does not want a society where the richest of the people have to give back to the people who don't have anything. So this election will have consequences, as all elections do. I believe that people need to think more with their minds instead of their hearts. Your heart can misguide you, because feeling good isn't always the right option, right? It doesn't feel good to get up at 5:30 in the morning when you're tired and still go to work, but you have to, because you understand that behind that, there's a payoff on the back end, because you have a bigger dream, a bigger idea for that sacrifice. So,
Well, we got
as this election plays itself out.
we got a caller. Let's see what the caller want real quick. Let me see. Caller 6457. You are now live with Progressive Action TV. Who this?
Yeah, this is Nas. What's going on, man?
Nas from Map Store.
Nah, NAJ, not like the rapper.
Oh, okay. What's going on, Nas?
No, man, I'm cool and listening to y'all, man. Good to hear people talking about these situations that didn't start following politics in 2017. Interesting dynamic we have, where people started looking at Facebook videos and YouTube videos in 2017 and then started creating what their idea of what politics is. No historical reference to lean on, no idea about most of the people we're talking about, let alone any policy. So, that's a beautiful thing. That you brothers actually are talking about this with that background. But the thing that stands out the most, like no matter what, and I think the gentleman before me kind of laid out as far as the two parties, what they are. But this early voting among young people, that is the one thing that is different in this particular election cycle that's been different from all others. The fact that so many young people have gotten activated and decided to vote early, like these numbers are kind of staggering, because it becomes this. If the constituency are Gen X and millennials and Gen Z, that's when we start talking about actual progressive policy, because these are people who have climate change, wage gap, infrastructure, things that actually matter on their mind as the forefront, as opposed to Gen X and the baby boomers, who you can kind of split up through identity politics of single issue voting, from abortion to whatever else. They put that at the forefront of their stuff. So the fact that these young people are participating is a big thing. Now, to the gentleman's point, yes, we still got the problem of the fake left Democrats will attack progressives much more harder than they will even attack the right. But let alone Trump. They'll fight the hell out of you as a progressive or somebody who's trying to actually change things. So that part still exists, and that's why they ran Bernie, out of the idea of Bernie getting the nomination, and we're dealing with what we're dealing with, another centrist right-wing Democrat in Biden. But I will say this, though, man. Biden basically represents what? Sticking your foot in the door to kind of slow the decline that we're seeing right now as far as what America is, just in general. Is that going to do much? Probably not. He's too cowardly to take on progressive ideals. And actually, if we're being honest, that's pretty much who he is as far as integrity-wise, a center-right Republican light guy. So it's not like he's going against his ideology. But again, these are the choices that are put in front of us. So I agree with you guys on a lot of things that you've been saying tonight.
Now, where you calling from?
Y'all, man,
where you calling from?
I'm in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, I see the 404. Yeah. Thanks for calling in, man. From Atlanta. It's good to know that people from Atlanta is listening to the show. Yeah, but this whole political thing, I think that, I may be quiet until after the election, but after the election, I'm gonna do a big show probably for like 3-4 hours, and I want everybody to tune in. How did you find out about the TV show?
Well, I saw the show on Blog Talk. I saw y'all were live, and I saw what the title of it was and everything else. I said, okay, let me check these brothers out.
Yeah, we was having, we was having
some heavy stuff.
We was having technical difficulties. We started talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and YouTube wasn't having it, and they just kicked us off, killed our stream.
That'll teach you. That'll teach you. You get on there and you talk that neoliberal, soft centrist stuff like they want you to. Don't be on here starting trouble. They have to shut you down.
But look, when you
be rebel rousing, right?
Yeah.
Right. But look, man, the main point is people got to know about your show. They got to know about actual other progressive shows from Black Agenda Report, even the white boys over at Chapel. Like, people got to know about actual progressive shows to where we can start to change people's minds, because the biggest problem is the propaganda is so heavy 24/7, man. Regular folks, bro, they ain't got time for politics. They didn't go to school to learn this stuff. So they're getting this stuff in, soundbite increments. So they don't know that they're being cheated. They don't know who the actual problems
Great
are.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Great
you know
point.
what I mean? So we got to make sure we get that out there, bro. So shows like yours and these other shows that actually deserve the attention, that actually deserve space on your phone for the people out there with low gigabytes who use up all their space on nonsense. Like, yo, we got to get it in there, man.
I appreciate you calling in. I hope this won't be the last time you call in. I definitely want to hear from you more. We actually knew the Blog Talk Radio, but our following is mostly on Facebook. I just did the Blog Talk Radio maybe like a couple of days ago. So it's good to see that Blog Talk Radio is getting us listeners and people to tune in, man. So thanks for calling in, man.
All right. Y'all have a good weekend, bro.
You too, bro.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's big. We had someone from Blog Talk Radio actually call into the show and say that that they like the progressive shows. And y'all know that in New York City, we are very progressive. We are very progressive. Progressive action is progressive. We are progressive in our jobs. We progressive in our communities, and we do a lot of work. Now, we don't have a lot of time left, Kemp. So I want to play a video real quick, and I want us to discuss it. We got like 20 minutes on the dot. But I want to play this video because it's very important. We go get into the second part of the show before Facebook banned us. And we go talk about this whole station agent thing and all this stuff. So let's play the video real quick. And we're going to let the people see what we're
Good
talking
afternoon,
about.
everybody.
Check it out, y'all.
Sarah, thanks so much for taking the question. We know that since April, the token booth clerks in the subway system have not been performing cash or MetroCard transactions. But we are aware that the commuter rail ticket agents are in fact performing those same transactions. And we're wondering what makes performing those transactions in the subway system inherently more dangerous than on commuter rail, and whether or not there is some difference in the arrangements that have been made between the MTA and the subway booth clerks union and the one that represents the commuter rail. And if so, why was this done? And is this going to continue? And how then do you make the case, if I can just add this last point, how do you make the case for critical funding when there seems to be a question as to why revenue agents are not bringing in revenue in their token booths?
Well, so let me take the second part first. It sounds like you're suggesting that the only thing that station booth agents do is take cash, which is just not accurate. So they have many other job responsibilities, including important customer service ones, and frankly, sometimes a level of security. So I think I just disagree with the premise of your question. And then second of all, yeah, I mean the railroads and the transit system have separate workforces, separate labor agreements, separate roles and responsibilities, and our employees do different things. So this is, I don't know what to tell you. It's not unique that there would be a workforce that's engaging with their job responsibility in one way, and it would be different at the railroads.
Do you see any issue there in terms of the signal that it sends to the riding public, which is, understandably concerned about the amount of money that the MTA needs, and the fact that there are certain transactions which, as great as the machines are, simply cannot be processed at a machine. For example, transferring expired balances from one Metro card to another, that cannot be done at a machine. So the question is, again, I don't know that I got an answer to the question, what is the inherent safety issue that is different between a token booth agent transacting with a customer and a commuter rail ticket agent transacting with a customer?
Again, I'm not suggesting that there's a safety difference. I'm suggesting that it's two different workforces with different job responsibilities, different union contracts, and different workforces that are represented by different labor unions. But to your point, you're suggesting that the only thing that a station booth agent is good for is for taking cash and doing transactions, and I just disagree with that. They serve other responsibilities that are incredibly important. Now, there is no one who is entering the system who is unable to by either engaging with a vending machine or engaging with an agent or going to a different station or calling the MTA or going online or going to Stone Street. We are not just leaving transactions off the table. We're just doing them in different ways, and we've been having to be creative since the very beginning to make sure that we get everything done in a way that makes both business and public health sense. And we'll continue to do that.
All right, we're moving on to the...
I gotta play my favorite sound effect for that.
Get the fuck out of here!
She's bugging. Did you hear that, Kemp?
Yeah.
You was able to hear the video?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your thoughts on it? Look, just keep in mind, we got 15 minutes before the phone lines cut off. So I want you to let me know what you think regarding that.
Yeah. We'll try to do it in 4 minutes. Everything she said was a lie. He called her out on the lie. She's so used to speaking to people like our union that allows her to deflect and make up any nuances about what's really happening and throw fancy words and go around the whole circle of what's actually said. Basically, he's not asking her about any union contracts or any specifications about what the differences are, what is negotiated. Very specific to the task. One person collects money, the other person collects money. Why is this person allowed to collect money and this person isn't? Period. There is no other reason to discuss, well, you're saying they only collect money. No. He's saying while they are collecting money and these people are not, I'm saying in that specific portion of their job title, why are they prohibited from doing it in New York City Transit and allowed to do it in Long Island Railroad and Metro North? And she doesn't have an answer because the answer would mean that she'd have to tell the truth and then ostracize one portion of her workforce, which she's very articulate in not doing.
Facts. And not only that, if the MTA is worried about money, right? They need all this money. Shouldn't they be collecting money from every source possible? Like, why would they not collect money at the token booths if they crying for a bailout? And I think that Trump and his people see through that. That there's no way possible that you got all these ways to collect money and you don't do it because of whatever reason. Because if I needed money, every source or every way that I got to make money, I'm going to use it. Right?
Great point.
I'm going to use it. So
you can't tell me you owe me money and I'm not going to take quarters. No, I'll take it in pennies. Just bring it to my house.
No, exactly. So if you need money, then why would you not use the token booths? Because you paying them anyway. You're paying them. You paying them basically not to do their jobs.
Right.
So it makes no sense. But this is part of their plan to get rid of station agents. Make no mistake about it. I do not think that the money is coming back. I do not think the money is coming back. So what you guys see on the screen right now, it's a Save Our Stations rally. The rally is Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 1 p.m. They marching from 195 Montague Street, that's the front of the Union Hall, to Brooklyn Plaza J Street, Brooklyn, New York 11201. SOS, Save Our Stations. What I like about this is that Progressive Action did not organize this. Progressive Action don't have nothing to do with this. But being that this is something positive, we do an injury to one is an injury to all. We do believe that in Progressive Action, and we're going to support it. You know, we're going to put it on the show. We're going to get the organizers on the show to call in so you can hear from them guys yourself as to why this is important. And we must support each other. I don't care what department you're from. I don't care what your title is. I don't care if you're about to retire. We must stand side by side with the station agents for this rally, because at the end of the day, if the MTA removed the station agents, then you're not safe. The station agents, they do more than collect money. They do more than be in a booth. They actually are like a de facto security. You know, they the eyes and ears to the underground world. Everybody know that the underground world is different from any other type of world. And without them there, or the MTA minimizing them and putting them somewhere else, everyone that is at risk. Their safety is at risk. If you listen to the MTA narrative right now, they saying that the NYPD is not doing their job, but they're afraid to call the NYPD out. But that's basically what they saying. NYPD not doing their job. You know, part of a cop job, part of a security guard job is to detect and deter. If you see, normally if a criminal sees someone in uniform, I don't care what kind of uniform you got on, they're not going to do the crime in front of them. It deters them. And without station agents being there wouldn't be somewhere to deter, whether it's fare evasion or a physical crime against someone. So this is something that we need to pay attention to. This is something that we need to support. Save Our Stations. I'm expecting to see bus operators there, RTO, CED, MOW, buses. I don't care. I want everyone to be there from every department to come support our brothers and sisters in stations. Now, before we get off, I want to bring up something that was tweeted today, like actually right before we came on the show. And I'm kind of surprised that she responded to it. I didn't expect her to respond to it, to be honest. I can't even find the tweet. But basically, I got the tweet on the screen. I'm going to read it to you, Kemp, because I know that you can't see it. So Nicole Jelinas, who she writes for the Manhattan Institute and the New York Post, very vocal on transit issues. She had tweeted, "Let me guess. Suspect in targeted vicious attack on yet another female subway commuter is formerly upstanding member of society who never had a run-in with the criminal justice system before the pandemic mysteriously made him turn to a life of crime." So basically what she was saying, she was like bashing bail reform or whatever the case was, and said that the pandemic was the reason why this particular gentleman turned to a life of crime. It was hyperbole, and she was being sarcastic and all that. But I had tweeted, and this is the truth. Every transit worker knows this. The only time crimes like this get attention is when it's done to a passenger. This happens to MTA workers all the time, and nothing is being done. Also, this was done way before the pandemic. I had tweeted that. Let me put that tweet up on the screen. And Sarah Feinberg, the interim New York City transit president, said, actually, we are doing lots. I talk about this problem constantly, publicly. We track incidences in real time, post them web for transparency, urge DAs and judges to prosecute offenders to fullest extent, and ban recidivist criminals who attack our colleagues, and put more PD in the system. Now, let's analyze the first part. She said we track incidents in real time, post them web for transparency. I talked about that in the first part of this broadcast before we was kicked off. They just started putting incidents on they made a web page basically for incidents regarding assaults and stuff on employees or whatever the case is. They just started that. So I don't want her to think that this is something that they've been doing. And they keep saying that they urging DAs and judges to prosecute offenders. If you're not making a public campaign on that, it doesn't count. If you was sincere in what you said, then why don't you do a public a PSA where the employees could see and the public could see that you mean that you serious? What you think about this, Kim?
No, it's a great point. That's exactly correct. But when I did the live with her, on the Q&A, I had referenced that to her, and I said, why is it that we're not using Transit's media conglomerate to basically prevent the operators or the employees from having to be the buffer between transit and the riding public? When you can easily go and use some of the resources and say, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, do not ask the driver for a free ride. The driver does not have the authority to grant you that ride. If you come on a bus without paying, you are trespassing and subject to any provisions of the law that is applied to it. Therefore, anyone who comes through the door doesn't have to say, hey, driver, can I get a ride? The news, the commercials have been telling you for 12 hours a day, do not talk to the driver about getting a free ride. It's not the driver's responsibility to answer that question to you. In the same way, we cry about revenue. We got buses, we got trains. Let Amazon get a contract. Let them bid for each borough. Let Pepsi get Queens. Let Amazon get Brooklyn. Let another company get Manhattan. And let them post their logos all over the train. Why are we still using shower curtains if you're so concerned about employee safety, right? When we knew 8 months ago or 7 months ago, whatever, when the governor goes on his press conference and says today is 243rd day. Well, whatever that is, each one of those points never reflect back to us. This is PR on her behalf, as she seems to be very gifted at, just always absolving the MTA from responsibility and basically saying, look, if anything bad happens, it's not on us. We did our best to cover every angle of whatever is going on throughout this pandemic. But yet we still have no plan for in 4 days when the election happens. And every other place, the police department, businesses, banks are all doing preemptive measures to protect themselves in the event there's some sort of social anarchy after the results of the election. But as of today, we don't have a bulletin, we don't have a memorandum, we don't have a flyer, we don't have a text message identifying that we should be on the lookout or preparing for safety, or what those measures should be if you're out in a bus and the day of the election, and how we'll navigate our system on that day. Nothing. And no demand from the union, no point of reference from our employer. Just, again, go out there and try not to get killed, guys. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. See you at the next live.
Facts.
And the fact that she responded to you lets them know that they feel guilty about it. The fact that she responded to that specifically is more of a condemnation about what she knows they're not doing than actually what they actually are doing. Because she would have never responded to it otherwise. They don't want that narrative out there when the receipts show that they actually are complicit in negating and putting us in harm's way.
I think that when you look at the MTA, what they've been coming out with lately, it's not because of the union. It's because of what Progressive Action been putting out there. We said that there's more deaths. They came out and said there wasn't more deaths. That actually the death total dropped. They've been reacting to everything that we've been doing, and it shows the power of the platform because they listen and they listen. They think that I don't know that they watching, but I know because they can't see what I see, and I'm just gonna leave it as that, right? All of them is watching. Feinberg is watching. All of them is watching. And it's a powerful platform, and they have to react to what we are saying. You know, they can't just let it go unsaid. Now, without a doubt, transit workers get assaulted all day, every day, right? It don't make the news. It only make the news if we almost die, right? We get assaulted, we get spit on, all types of stuff happen to us. And but when Nicole Jelinas put this thing out, like, oh, a passenger got assaulted, it's like, okay, that happens to us every single day. You know, it don't make the news. It's because it's like we are supposed to be subjected to, you know, this type of stuff. Kemp, if the phone cut off, I'm gonna DM you my the other show number, and you could call in on that, and we could just continue.
Yeah.
We're just in the Blog Talk Radio. We'll just continue the show regular. But
Yeah,
but
sure.
this whole thing is crazy, right? Because I mean, even going back, let me put the station agents flyer back on the screen. When you look at that department, stations as a whole, the demographics of that department, mostly women, people of color, people who was had a medical demotion, medically reclassified, or whatever the case is. Stations is our most vulnerable department. And the MTA is waging war on that department, right? What is the union saying or doing? You don't hear no fight.
But who's in charge of the stations department? Who was in charge of the stations department for the last year?
Well, it was with y'all, and then he got promoted
Right.
to administrative vice president because of the passing of Rivera. But now
Okay.
you got
So that's what doing kung fu flips at marches.
yeah,
with
exactly,
promotion.
yeah, it paid off.
Hands off our president, right? Remember
Yeah,
when they
at
said
the
about
e-board,
Christopher Columbus?
at the
When
board
he stood
meeting.
up there and said, hands off our president. Hands off of our president, Mr. Utano. Hands off.
Yeah,
We are mad. We about as mad as 199,000 and 55,000 and everybody who wears kente cloth. We angry that you talked about our president on Columbus Day. But don't worry about them 140 people that died.
90 seconds.
That's all right.
yeah. It's letting me know we got 90 seconds left. Look, Kemp, this is what I want you to do. We gonna let the Blog Talk Radio cut off. I just DM'd you.
Yeah.
I just DM'd you the other show number. So
I got you. I'm gonna call it now.
Yeah, just call into that right now.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we go wait for Kemp to get back on. I gotta set up the other line. Give me 1 second. This is fun. This is kind of fun, like talking at night. Let me see what's going on here. All right, yeah, let me just wait for him to call in. Just wait for him to call in, and then we should be A-okay. Yeah, but the thing that's going on in stations, you there, bro? Hold on a second. You there, bro? Hold on, let me set up. Let me make sure this thing is set up. Give me 1 second. Cause I don't hear you on the thing. Let me see. 1 second. You there, bro? Wait, I don't know why I don't got you. Give me 1 second. Let me unpair it real quick. But it says it's paired up. Let me see. Let me end this. Let me end the Blog Talk Radio. Let me end that real quick. Let me get you back on the phone. Give me 1 second. 1 second, bro. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't have you. Let me see. Forget this. Let me get you back on. This whole thing is like pretty crazy as far as like how the MTA attack, our certain departments, and they act like we don't know what the situation is. They act like we don't know what the situation is. Let me see. Make sure Kemp is on. You on, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right, I hear you. Yeah, now you could continue.
All right. Yeah, it's one of those things where, and I think this is where, as a membership, we have to be very unified in identifying that our personal relationships that we have, one of those things with reps or just even coworkers, and I think can't supersede who or what has intentions against our success. Because I think a guy is a good father, or he's a good guy, or we play basketball together, or we smoke a cigar on our day off, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's good at negotiating policy for our company. Those two things can't be joined at the hip. I have to be able to constructively criticize you if you hold a title or a job that affects my livelihood, my future, my children's future, their safety. The fact that our health insurance, even though they say has to be met or the standards have to be continuous from the prior health insurance, the reality is that even if what we're offered in regards to what's available to us is still the same, what that company pays to doctors isn't the same. So yes, I still have the right to go to an emergency room. I still have the right to be covered under all of the specifications that were prior, but I don't have to be taken by the doctor that might actually provide me the best amount of care. And that's negotiated. And that's a concession. So when we talk about throughout this pandemic and people say, well, don't criticize because there's no way for you to identify what was going on behind the scenes and how we were actually moving all of these pieces in the middle of a pandemic. Well, guess what? That's why you were elected. That is your job. That is your title. The people who are not qualified for that didn't run for office. They trusted you when you said, I'm capable. And then at the point that it came for you to be capable, you said, well, hey, listen, there's no guarantees because I'm not necessarily sure that, we can do this right now because, the company, the ridership is at its lowest and we don't know what we can guarantee. Well, tell me what you did guarantee. Because the transit guarantee coming out of this pandemic is that if they don't get money, we're going to suffer. That was their guarantee. They guarantee you.
And we're going to know if we're going to suffer by next week. Will we like 3 days away, 4 days a week, 4 days away? And people don't even see the Armageddon coming.
Right.
Like listen, next week is going to be turmoil.
Right.
Turmoil. If Biden win, the white supremacists is going to go crazy. If Trump win, the left is going to go crazy. It's going to be a lot of civil unrest. We are in a bad predicament. If Trump win, we in trouble. Because the MTA is going to have free will to lay off people.
Right.
Everything they ever wanted to do and dream about. Listen, I won't be surprised because Trump is going to eventually give up the money, even if he wins. I believe he's going to eventually give up the money. He's playing hardball right now, but he's going to eventually give up the money. Yeah, he's going to eventually give up the money. He may make us suffer for a little while, but
because if New York fails, the stock market fails, and that's his baby, right?
Exactly.
His baby is always touted in the stock market.
Exactly.
So he's not. New York can't suffer for so long. They're just going to let New York suffer as long as the election is here, so that they can put some more red seats in wherever they want. That's the political posturing right there.
Exactly.
But what I was going to ask you is let's say Trump wins. Let's say Trump loses. Now, how does the police department and their union go back to doing their civil duties when they've taken a position of supporting everything Trump? I'm not talking about they have the whole Blue Lives Matter movement, right? They have marches and rallies and fundraisers and all kind of stuff. How do they go back to doing the civil responsibilities? It's a really weird dynamic. It's a really plaguing, a really unsettling reality.
Well, they going to do it at a reduced rate. You know, the MTA is finally saying that, you know, NYPD is not doing their job. They slowing down, right? So if Trump loses, then especially NYPD in New York City, we go suffer, because no matter what we say, we need police in our communities, because we just not there to ready. We not really there to police ourselves. I don't care what nobody say. We're not there to police ourselves. We need police, right? And the fact of the matter is, there are more good police than bad police, but there's really no good police if they know about bad police and they not reporting them, right?
Right.
But we are in no way in a position to police ourselves. We're not, right? So if the police decide to take a back seat all across the board, because I could see that. You know, I could see them saying we're going to be lax these next 4 years. We're going to show the Democrats that you know, we did wrong. They're going to do that, right? And we're going to suffer. We're going to suffer. But back to the MTA topic, Trump is not going to give up that money right away. He's going to give it up, but not right away. But the MTA is going to make every cut that they ever dreamed of, right? Because part of, I believe a part of the contract, I think, is managerial rights. I think it's 1.6 or 1.8. I forget which one it is, but it's managerial rights. They could do what's best for the company based on the economics of the company, and the union can't. The union can't grieve it, right?
They did it in 08.
Yeah,
in 2010.
And we weren't in nowhere the shape and form of we were in 2008 compared to now. We was rich in 2008, right? We didn't
even have to make a lot of those cuts in 2010. They did it willingly. Right.
Exactly. But now we in a different predicament now, right? So what's going to happen? The MTA is going to make every cut that they wanted to make, every single one that they wanted to make. And then when Trump give back that money, they not going to bring back the jobs the same.
Right. They bring robots back.
Yeah, because Trump is
more Omni.
Trump is not going to give them all the money that they wanted. So the MTA is going to have the excuse, look, we asked for 12 billion. Trump gave us 10 billion. We can't bring back these jobs. Right? So, but I guarantee you, if Trump win and we get no money, I guarantee you Omni is going to continue. Every one of the MTA's best interests is going to continue, except the best interests of labor. Management best interests is going to continue. Make no mistake about it. Omni is going to continue. You're going to look, Trump win next week. In December, we go here, all of Brooklyn is Omni now. Right. All this time they was saying that they didn't have money. You know what the MTA was announcing? All of Manhattan is Omni. All of Bronx is Omni. Next is going to be all of Brooklyn. Next is going to be all of Queens. Then they gonna be like Staten Island is all Omni, and everything gonna be all Omni. They don't got no money, but they continuing on. Right? This is management's
facial recognition scanners now to get rid of the nurses at the depots.
Everything,
right?
yeah.
Heat sensors, right?
Everything that
so they got money.
This is MTA. This is MTA dream. I'm still here. I'm back now. Don't worry about it. I'm back now. But the MTA, they acting like they're against Trump, but the way that they Biden supporters. I mean, they Trump supporters. Me out again, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I apologize. I'm back. Yeah, this it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Right. And to your point when you talk about, well, it's not about the political aspect. It's just about the consequences of labor that make me look at Trump a certain way. I always wonder how in a workforce that is driven by unionism and really one of the last strongholds of unionized workforces is New York City. I mean, they're getting smaller and smaller countrywide. How anyone could, in the same way when they told everyone they were opening up the New York State Constitution and that everyone's pensions might be renegotiated, everyone joined together and stood against that. Say no to opening up the contract. We're against it. Well, how aren't you against a president who publicly who redistricts everything to stop unions from being able to assemble, who wants to crush unions, who wants to stop your rights to collectively bargain, who's reassigning all of the civil service laws, who puts judges in areas that are going to have to hear union fights to actually make them lose? That in itself is bad for anyone who wants to send their kids to college, who wants to own a home, who wants to have a car. Because the reason you get paid what you get, the reason why you have the benefits you have, the reason why they hate you is because it's not that they can't provide it, it's that they don't want to provide it so they can have a bigger stash. It's not about what they believe you're entitled to. It's more about what they can make you do more for less. And that idea is what our company, the MTA, is driven by. When I see Mayor de Blasio put out this agenda, them identifying a disparity amongst blacks or minorities and women in the workforce, well, he doesn't have to look that far. He can look at the MTA and identify the difference between the people who get paid to do the same job here as they do in Long Island Railroad and Metro North. But they don't talk about those things at this company because this company doesn't have accountability. This company is like the magic golden bank account that the money goes in, but nobody justifies where it goes, and everyone gets to play their own little political ambitions with our sacrifices. The MTA is corrupt. I don't know how anyone has to look for another word to use. The corruption starts. I mean, the MTA is corrupt. The head of the MTA is the governor. How much more corrupt can you be, right? The person who makes the laws prevents the people who need the laws to help them.
Facts.
Who do you ask when you're in trouble, mom or dad? Well, they both live in the house. You might get the good parent that day, and dad might let you sneak that piece of cake. But at the end of the day, them grades come back bad. Both parents are going to be on that ASS. Right? So our parent company, our parent distributor is the governor. And the governor not only has the MTA in his pocket, he has the union in the pocket. Because the union doesn't want to argue or fight with the governor because they're scared that he'll get heavy-handed with them. That's their fear. Their fear is that they don't have enough fight or economic power to go head-to-head with a governor who basically tells them, look, let's do all this theater stuff. Let's do the we're angry at Columbus Day. Let's do we're not going to take this contract stuff. Let's use the whole meeting or the whole public reaction of your outrage as theater. But at the end of the day, you're getting 2%. Let's go do a rally in front of 2 Broadway and march down the street with a bear outfit on. Let's do all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, you're still getting 2%, right? Did anybody think they weren't getting 2%? Is there anyone who worked at transit who thought you were getting 4%? Because if you did, please let me know. Because I want to smoke what you're smoking. I thought your mic could have got 2.5. Your mic could have got a 3. And that would have been, whatever. What they're doing right now is lining you up to tell you that when your next contract comes up, you're going to be told, be happy you have a job. So prepare your mind for it now, because they've already implanted it in your mind.
When is our contract up?
We get another increase this year.
No, it's
and
20.
then it's
Is it 2023?
2023.
2023 is up, right? So if Trump wins, that means that he would still be president when our contract is up. This may be, if we have to rely on this administration that we got in there right now, this may be the last raise that we ever get, because we got an administration that's not gonna go against the governor, because no matter how they angle they fight, the Blasio don't have nothing to do with our contracts. Trump don't have nothing to do with our contracts. The governor does.
And you talk about it all the time. You say, why are we using pattern bargaining? You did a whole show on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
About how we're using pattern bargaining. We're not even city workers. So now what? The city, UFT agreed to take half their money now. The other half, I see DC 37 just made another deal that in order to stave off layoffs, they're not going to take a pay increase or what? What? So now you're going to pattern bargain with that? Are you crazy?
I mean,
and then what?
I mean, to be quite honest, this may be the last raise that we get. If Trump remains president, this may be the last raise that we get. ATU, if we don't get that bailout money, they not getting a raise.
They don't even have a contract.
Yeah,
right?
they not getting a raise. And people trying to praise Utano settled our contract. We always first. If you look at any of the MTA documents, it says that TWU normally sets the trend for everyone else to accept whatever they're going to accept. So if TWU don't do well, then the other unions is not going to do better than TWU. You know, we are the bigger union, and you know there's power in numbers, a strength in numbers, if you want to believe that. But if Trump win, this may be our last contract with raises. ATU, I feel sorry for you guys. You guys is not going to get a raise. Or if you get a raise, it's going to be so polar opposite of what we got. And on a negative end, you know, it's just not going to work. But this is the recipe for disaster. You got something unforeseen like the pandemic. Nobody could have predicted that this was going to happen. You mix that with weak unions, with weak union leadership, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. You know, during a time where we had the right to exercise unsafe work, the union decided to let us work and let people die and let people get sick. I'm still recovering.
As am I. You know, I get random pulls and stabs in the back of my chest. And Tramel, real. This part right now, there's someone sitting at home saying, "Well, you should be glad that Utano got you that contract, because if not, you'd be like ATU." I'm glad that Local 100 has a 70 or 60-year legacy that this current administration hasn't found a way to lose all of those benefits yet. I'm glad that for 45 years, the gains that have been fought for were more solid than the gains that we've obtained in the last 10 years. I'm glad for that. But there's a part of that where the power of the negotiation lies in the workforce. As they explained throughout the pandemic, that if our system stops running, the country dies. The country dies. That doesn't have anything to do with Utano. That has to do with Tramel Thompson, Alexander Kemp, and the other 44,000 people who are specialists at their tools that sacrifice the most and get the least. So granted, yeah, we get a contract, but never should you dilute your worth just because it's in the name of good policy. You don't get to negotiate my worth. As you stated many times, you get what you negotiate. You got 2% because that's what they were willing to negotiate, because without that, you would have had to do extra measures to get more. But the reality is the quality of life for that 2% is reduced.
So it's not really 2% raise. It's not a 5% raise. It's not a 7% raise because your Aetna pays your doctor 37 cents to the dollar, where other health plans pay 73 cents to the dollar. So your doctor's more willing to take the other plans more so than your Aetna. Your dental pays a portion of it. Your medical pays a portion of it. Those little nuances of your quality of coverage are the parts that you're getting stripped from, but on the surface, you feel like you're winning. But on the back end, you're really being robbed. You're being robbed of quality of life and real dollar values of benefits that they're willing to concede because all they're thinking about is their last 5 years on this job, because most of the people making decisions here are on their way out. And if you're not aware of that, that's what you need to focus on, because the people leaving this job will leave you to hold the bag. Make no mistake, they're leaving intact. No matter what happens in this election, no matter what happens with layoffs, no matter what happens within the MTA, the people who have less than 5 years on this job will suffer the least amount of casualties on any part of this pandemic, of any part of this election, any part of any contract that comes thereafter.
And
they're setting it up that way.
Exactly. And we can't even think that this current administration have our best interests. Most of them could leave in 5 years, right? They don't even have no real tier 6 people a part of their movement. And I'm talking about top 4 or VPs. I mean, they don't have no one who they listen to, right? That got skin in the game. Utano don't got no skin in the game. He's done. He's retired as far as I'm concerned. You know, everyone else, Wichard, he got enough time to retire. Latanya, in 5 years, she could go. Richie Davis, probably the same thing. You know, maybe 8 years, but that's no real skin in the game. I call that they're at the bottom, going towards the bottom of the sliding board. They not climbing up the slide. They're already on the slide coming down. Right? Anyone with 15, 20 years, you're on the bottom end of that slide. Right? So they don't even care about tier 6, the unborn, and people who got more than 15 years on this job. They're gonna sell us out. And they've been doing that now. They've been sacrificing us. This whole pandemic, we've been sacrificed. And even think about their 10-point plan. Their 10-point, you know what their 10-point plan is? I want to say this. Their 10-point plan is a Christmas list. It's something that you go to your child and be like, you know, write down what you want. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna get for you. And if it works out for me, then I get it for you. You know what I'm saying? That if you look at that 10-point plan, it wasn't a plan, it was a wish list. Utano was at Grand Avenue Depot the other day saying that he's grateful that the MTA, after 7 months, is taking our safety serious. You're grateful? You ain't even have the heart or balls to demand anything from the TA during the one of the most critical times, not only for our industry, but for the world. You couldn't even set the example. You put out a wish list. That 10-point plan should have been a list of demands, uncompromising, unadulterated.
And look at the orator of the plan. You know, in baseball, if you're not the fastest runner, they put somebody out there for you. And the person who hits the home runs or the double or the triple, he respects that. He's comfortable with the fact and understanding that he's good at hitting the ball, but he might not be the guy there to steal the base. So, as we say locally, respectfully, I don't really want, when we have maybe the one or two of the biggest press conferences of the year with the heads of the MTA and senators, for my union president to send out the message that the capacity of his oration is 3 sentences or 3-word sentences. And that's no condemnation on the man. I don't know him personally as a human being. Again, I don't know him, what he does at home. I'm sure he's a great father, friend, brother, whatever. But as a representative of me, because I have that right to suggest that anyone who represents me publicly should be able to clearly and concisely identify my needs and the needs of the members they represent. This gentleman does not have that capacity. He can have a spokesperson. The president does, respectfully. He can say or write down what he wants stated and pass it off to them and say, TW Local 100, as stated by our president, this is what he would like to do, this is what we're working on, so on and so forth. It's the equivalent of when a parent goes to the school. If the parent comes in there looking disheveled and not prepared to speak to the principal on behalf of their child, guess what happens to that kid the next time? The whole school condemns that kid. They think, because they're not worried about his mother or father coming up here, because they know that level of representation for that kid is inadequate. They're not worried about you calling a lawyer. They're not worried about you challenging the principal. They're not worried about you challenging the teacher. They're going to pacify your kid every day. Whereas if the representative for that kid comes in with a nice outfit and they speak very clearly and they have a certain knowledge base of the academic system and they're able to be their kid's advocate responsibly, then the people take you and your kid that much more seriously. So how serious can I take anything when people are doing nose swabs and patting each other on the back and they're doing this like a circus act? I don't take any of that lightly. I don't take it as a joke, and I'm not that complicit with management to consider the fact that I would ever allow them to dictate to me the standards of my care when they've already put so many people's lives at jeopardy. They don't get to write that check. We write that template. The 10-point plan should have been, as you stated, a 2-point demand, 1 and 2. This is what we're demanding. This is what happens if we don't get it. Period. End of story.
Bottom
Figure
line.
it out.
Bottom line. Bottom line.
I don't know what to tell you. That's not like masterful negotiation. That is not playing hardball when ridership is down 70%. No, ridership is down 70% because transit never invested in their infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, okay, transit, you want to bring people back to the train? Where's the campaign? Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? The next week of election cycle, we want everybody, trains are free. You made buses free. You kept charging for the train. Of course they went to the buses. Trains are unsafe. Nobody believes anything they're saying when they say that it's safe. So that part of it is their burden. That part of it, the union should not be helping them throw alley-oops on. No, you guys have an unsafe work environment. This is what we've been arguing with you since walls have been falling since Sandy.
And then
your infrastructure is inadequate.
And then let's be honest here. This pandemic has taught corporations that they don't need all the office space that they have, right? So you got all these corporations, they like, yo, we could pay our employees to work from home. We could get rid of the $1 million leases for office space that we have in the city. We don't need that. Our employees could be just as productive at home. And even when you look at the MTA, they begging for ridership to come back, but they also got their own workers teleworking. So if you're not setting the example to say, hey, look, we back at our offices, I think the rest of the city should do the same thing. You guys is doing what the rest of the corporations is doing. So let's just say Biden win, we get a vaccine, people take the vaccine, the ridership is not going to be the same still. The MTA is still going to have a reason to make cuts. They said we was getting 5 to 7 million riders a day. I could see that number being around 4 million, 3 million. It's not going to come back. We are in unprecedented times, right? All the cuts that the MTA ever wanted to make is coming to fruition. The bad part about it is that we got weak union leadership representing us at the most crucial time in our lives. The most crucial time. Who would you rather have fight Mike Tyson when he's at the the top of his career. He's at the top of his career. Who would you have fight Mike Tyson? An amateur that got knocked out every single last one of his fights? Or Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis? You know what I'm saying? Right now, the MTA, they got the upper hand. Right now, they got the upper hand. Even if Biden win, ridership is not gonna come back. They gonna still cry broke.
Well, you know what? This is a great time to push the narrative and justification of free transportation system. If they want the ridership back, there's ways to do it. The problem with doing it is that you almost have to stop the greedy people from becoming rich off of the transit system.
Well, the transit system was supposed to be free, right? If the corporations in the city paid their fair share of taxes,
Correct.
fares don't have to come up. Go up. The MTA look at taxing the everyday rider by increasing the fare to keep up with everything. But the MTA would never tax the rich because Cuomo don't want to tax the rich.
There you go.
You know, it's just not going to happen. So what's going to happen? Fares is going to go up. Ridership is not going to come back. The MTA know this. If we continue to vote in the type of leadership that we have, we're going to be in trouble. And for the record, because I know they watch all my videos. When I'm not thinking about them, they thinking about me. I'm looking directly at you guys at the camera. If any one of you guys ever feel froggy and feel like you're doing the right thing and feel like you're doing what's right for the members, this platform is open to you. Come on to the show. Just me and you talk, and we could talk about everything that was done. You guys got to stop being scared of the boogeyman. I ain't going nowhere. Whether I work here or whether I don't work here, I'm not going nowhere. If you got union people saying, "Oh, Trammell is wrong," well, you know how you shut someone down that's wrong? You upstand them on their own platform. You shut them down on their own platform. I'm going to show how much he don't know. I'm gonna go on his platform and let the people know that he don't know what he talking about. He's just all fluff. Come on, let's do that. The door is open. Anybody who feel froggy that say that I'm wrong on my outlook of the union, let's talk about it. Let's come on the show. The platform is open to anyone. Utano, Witchard, Latanya, Earl Phillips, Richie Davis, Donald Yates. What's his name? What's that dude name that was talking about me? I wasn't even thinking about him. What's his name?
Cregan?
Tommy Cregan. Whoever it may be, whoever you are, come on the platform. I invite you. I'll put on some nice theme music. I'll keep your picture in the corner of the screen so people can see who you are. But come up here. Call in. You got nothing to hide. Don't tell your followers, "Oh, here, I'm not wasting my time." No, waste your time. Because I'm bigger than you. I'm badder than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm more youthful than you. I'm more smarter and intelligent than you. I got more respect than you. You can't do nothing with me. Tell your followers the truth. Come up here and talk your talk. You got all that. You say, "I don't got no experience," right? I'm new. I don't know what I'm talking. Come up here. Let's talk that shop talk. Any one of you guys. And I'll take 2, 3, 4 on at one time. The truth stand alone. And you guys know that. That's why y'all scared to go against it, man. But the people will see the truth, man. The people will see the truth. Let me ask you a question, Kemp.
Yes, sir.
If you had to compare Tony Utano to one of the presidential candidates, who would you compare him to?
That would be a Donald Trump. I had to think about it. No, I had to process that because I don't like to just say things without putting forth the processing of it. But when I consider that Trump doesn't have any blacks in his delegation, when I think about how he has the token black, when I think about how he has specific entities around him, how he appoints, I guess he appointed however many judges and only one of them were black. If I had to liken Utano to that, his circle, and from the statements that came out of his circle in regards to who he felt the union would be in safe hands with moving forward, or else it would collapse. Those kind of things lead me to believe he's more like Donald J. Trump. And then, again, so you have to think how he acquired his job as well. That part of that has relevancy. He was appointed his job by John Samuelson, who another one doesn't have many people who don't look like him in his direct confines.
Well, we can't say that though. We can't say that though, because Samuelson, he had 2 black people running on his slate, his original ticket, which was Latanya and Earl. But what I would say is that what these guys do, because the thing is that they mask their racism by putting black people that's down with them, but they don't put outspoken black people. They don't put black people that don't disagree with how they run things. They put yes men black people. So that's what we got to pay attention to, right? Because I tell you what, if I had a choice between Utano and Samuelson, I'm choosing Samuelson all day. I mean, Utano is just the worst. That's the bottom of the barrel that you're going to get. I don't give a damn if Utano is the nicest guy in the world. He's a horrible leader. And what we need in TWU Local 100 is a leader, someone who know how to speak, someone who's not a kiss ass for government, politicians, someone who's not afraid of MTA management, someone who don't make deals, someone who cares if they workers die because of the negligence of their employer, someone who just care for the people. Utano only care for his people. And Utano is another one. If you feel froggy, leap. Come on the show. Don't tell your people, oh, he's nobody. No, you know I'm somebody. You know I am. That's why you sicked Kim Moore Ward on me. Don't wait till I do the show of how you guys was paying Kim Moore Ward. She's a part of our LM2s. I got that paperwork, buddy. And I understand that she was a arbitrator, and both union and management have to pay for the arbitrator. But you have a relationship with her, buddy. It was only 5 years ago, 2015. You guys have a relationship with her. So it's easy for you and easy to use management to sick management on employees. Don't think that I don't know. Don't think that I don't know. But this is what we dealing with. This is what we dealing with. We dealing with, if you look up, if you want to Google yellow union, what a yellow union is. It's a company union. It's a union that have management best interests more than their workers. And I see a lot of people saying that, we need to stop paying union dues, and that would definitely get their attention if we was to boycott the union. But at the same time, we would be hurting ourselves. I think that we need to go back to the Mike Quill type politics. I think that we need to go back what true unionism is. We need to go in our union hall, close the door, and step to these males as men. Wrinkle a couple of shirts up. And keep it 100. We keep it 100. These is old guys we talking about here. These are guys who they are 30 years out of their prime. They can't walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. I'm talking about all of them. All of them. I don't care how many flips Witchard do. All that shit is good. That shit won't mean nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest about Witchard. You gotta respect Witchard. For him to be like in his 60s, he's in great shape. Richard is a fast talker. He's slick. He like like my boy said, he's slicker than a can of oil. You got to hold him with two hands. Richard played the game and got in and did what he had to do. But he's not. I'm just upset at Richard, to be honest with you, man. I had plenty of talks with him, and for him to talk this pro-black stuff and then not hold Utano accountable, that rubbed me the wrong way. Brother Richard, you need to come back to the right side of things, man. They setting you up. They moved you out the way to put Kelly in place. You're out the door. You're not running with them next election. I just want you to know that. But you know, it is what it is. I guess those backflips and summies and tumble rolls came into good use.
Now, let me ask you a question. What department has to go into work on their day off to shovel snow?
Stations.
That's Richard's department, right?
Correct.
How is that negotiated in the contract that someone on their day off mandatory has to come into work to shovel snow off of dangerous steps?
To tell you the truth, I don't know how it works, but you know, a lot of people don't know that I worked for the Board of Education for 10 years. And I came from a cleaner title before I went to the fireman title. It was the same thing like that with us. Whenever it snowed, no matter if it was our day off or not, we had to report and shovel the snow. I don't know if it was a part of our contract or it was I never really looked into it, but I didn't care because it was extra money and we ain't really worked too hard. But the problem with that was with them shoveling the snow is that they went in to do the work and they wasn't getting their money. I
didn't get paid.
Yeah, I don't think our members would be mad at doing the work, but if we doing the work and you not paying us, that's slave labor. Right. And to be fair, this was happening before with y'all. You know, this was happening to the administration with the administration before which y'all got in, but you know, none of us should be working for free.
I would agree.
You know what I mean? None of us should be working for free. So, you know, like I said, I'm pretty upset at Richard. You know, he talk all this pro-black stuff, and you know, he had the opportunity to be great, but you know, he end up what they call that, buck dancing. You know, for you, yeah, for Utano. It ain't Kool-Aid, it's Fool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know, it's Fool-Aid, but you know, we gotta
Power corrupts people, bro.
Yeah,
Power corrupts people.
For a fact. We gotta find a way how to take back our union.
It starts this way. It starts with on a daily basis, not letting them get away with the lie. As they tell the lie, you condemn the lie, you ostracize the lie, and you expose the lie, and you make them defend it. And a liar can't defend a lie. All they do is just lie again, right? Like Feinberg, like whoever. If you're gonna be standing here lying, I don't care what you do on your day off, in your barbecue, in your backyard. No, you're lying to people who believe in you and are trusting you that you have their best interest at hand, and you're only lying to protect your own interest. That's disingenuous, that's devilish, and that's unrighteous. And that, at any point, has to be condemned. So taking the union back starts with the lie. The lie that whoever is lying to you has your best interest, that has to be step two at the moment. And this platform is a great way to do it. And people really need to stop looking at the messenger and look at the message, because people get rocked to sleep by what feels good. You know, sometimes change is uncomfortable, man. And you got to be willing to say, yo, look, if it don't add up, then I don't care how it feels. It don't add up. And the people who are defending your rights have everything to lose. Like, no, dog, it's 12:30 in the morning. We don't have to be doing this. This is for the benefit of everybody.
But I want to say this. I want to say this though. People is paying attention right now on YouTube. We got 24 people watching. They could be asleep right now. They don't got. Right. We got 24 people watching. They don't have to be watching. On Facebook, we got about 30 something people watching. They don't got to be watching. Right. So there's people out there that want to receive the information, right? Right. But what we got to do is that we can't be selfish with this information. If we got basically 50 something people watching the platform, 50 something people, then the next time we live, you should tell 2 more people to come on live to watch. Right. You know what I mean? I created before I used to do it on Facebook. I used to hear the excuses, yo man, everybody don't got Facebook. You got to put it on YouTube. Fine. I put it on YouTube and I put it on Twitter. So now we expanded. We got it on YouTube, we on Facebook, we on Twitter. We got to get more people. We got to get more people watching the platform. I keep telling people that it's no sense if you got 50 people watching and they keeping it to themselves. Share out the shows. Let other people know that there's people having these intellectual conversations, these logical conversations as to what's going on in New York City Transit. There's people out here that care. Now, there's no other platform in right now of New York City Transit workers that could get 30 people watching on Facebook. I ain't even checked Twitter. 24 people watching on YouTube. It's 12:40 at night, bro. This is our basically our second show of the day. We've been on for over an hour right now. We've been on for an hour and 16 minutes, and we just talking to talk. We just talking to talk, and people is listening and tuning in because people want the information. They do, but we got to do our part in getting them the information. So to all 50 people listening, I need you guys to do us a favor. When this show is over, take the link of the video, text it to a friend, text it to a WhatsApp group that you in. Share it on the Facebook groups. Share it on the Facebook groups. Do what you got to do to get that information out there, because this information is not only exclusive to our coworkers, it's also for our family and friends. Right? And like we say plenty of times, donations. None of this stuff that we do is free. These minutes, you have to pay for these minutes to broadcast on these different platforms. You have to pay for the most highest internet. You got to keep your software and keep upgrading and try to make things better so members could call in. None of this stuff is free. This stuff costs me hundreds of dollars a month, and I got to pay out my own pocket. That's why I say, if you can, donate to the Cash App. If everyone watching right now, 50 people, donate what you could donate. Hit the Cash App. If you don't got Cash App, hit the PayPal. The PayPal is there. Progressive Action. The Cash App is Progressive Action 100. This stuff don't happen. You guys motivate me. But we got to remember, this is a capitalistic society. Nobody is saying, Tramel, we're going to give you Blog Talk Radio is not, we're going to give you this for free, or the internet company, we're going to give you the highest internet for free, because I don't need the highest internet in my crib. I could use the lowest internet if I was for myself, but I got to use the highest to broadcast the way I need to broadcast properly. All this stuff.
And there's other parts of that, right, Tramel? Like, I didn't mean to cut you, but like you're also defending a lot of people's jobs from your tools.
Facts.
And that requires an enormous amount of energy, just in being a father and having a full-time job.
Facts.
You know, getting a phone call from one member who has an issue can take up a whole day.
And it does.
Right. And then putting that into play where you might have to reach out to somebody, you have to speak to somebody, then you got to do the research to make sure that it's legitimate or that what they're saying is an actual, like, because they've already went to the channels that are supposed to have taken care of that and got no resolution, they then seek externally. And when they get resolution externally from Progressive Action or from alternate stewards somewhere throughout the system, then they're condemned by the administration as, oh, well, what are you talking about? They went through the first channel, which should have been addressed at the moment of impact.
Facts.
At the second that one of these instances or issues arise, these issues should be addressed by the people who are elected to do that. And in many situations, they're not being. So then the person is left stranded with no resolution. So they externally seek out. Someone plugs them in and tells them, maybe you should ask this person. Maybe you should ask that person. And a lot of times they're able to go right to the Progressive Action platform and get all the information they need from a post or from bulletins that are pasted in the files department or from a video where it was discussed. I mean, you are actively engaging the whole membership in every department for the benefit of the members to be empowered. So that in itself requires an enormous amount of commitment for everyone. So when people, because there's people who say, oh, donate this, well, what are you donating? You're donating for, I mean, there's people who have retainers or lawyers that pay thousands of dollars and nothing happens. You pay for car insurance in case you get into an accident. So keeping the platform open is really like the last hope we have in getting information out there, to whereas the people who want to suppress you would actually be muted and have no access to anything so they can continue lying.
Thanks.
Why do you think they can't lie so easily anymore? Because they know that this platform will come out the next day and provide receipts on every one of those lies. So it forces them to be humble and actually pushes them into hiding. That's why you don't see them anymore.
Facts.
You don't see them around depots. You don't see them in the field. You don't see them anywhere because they're afraid that they might get exposed for the lies that they told because of Progressive Action.
Facts.
So round of applause for Progressive Action. Let
me hit the actual claps though. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
That was beautiful, Kent. But on a serious note, definitely need donations to keep the platform improving. You know, I'm happy that now we could take phone calls to a high degree. I mean, we had someone call from Atlanta that said they seen us on Blog Talk Radio and they wanted to chime in. We're about to expand. We're about to get bigger and better and broader on a lot of issues here. We're about to talk more than transit issues, but we go tie it in to transit issues because we are in the capital of the world. We people don't understand. They think that we just come in and you know, operate our trains, operate our buses and clean up. Without us, we make trillions of dollars, zillions of dollars for these companies here. We take the people, the livestock basically to these companies to make these companies make money. Right? And we're not appreciated enough. You know, and we Progressive Action is going to continue to push. We're going to be objective. You know, we going to rely on the facts. You know, everything that we said, anything that I could talk about, I could bring up a receipt for it. You know, I just don't talk out the side of my mouth. And you will never see another platform like this. You will never see another platform like this. This union.
In the middle of the pandemic, I'm talking about the week of the firestorm. It was Progressive Action who had Senator Parker, Dr. Adebayo, addressing the pandemic directly and how it affected and trying to find solutions to help the members stay alive. Directly. It was another, what was her name? Savino, right? From Staten Island. You linked her, another senator. We're talking about issues that affect every single member on behalf of the membership. Every one of those communications you're doing on behalf of transit workers.
Facts.
It could be individual for Tremel Thompson. Those links, those those senators, you could be pushing a narrative that benefited you solely. Listen, this is Progressive Action. My name is Tramel Thompson. And guys, thank you for linking me. Let me tell you all about what I got going on. None of that. Everything is directly correlated to the lives of transit members and how your access and bringing in the outside world to our inside can help us be a better membership. But yet you're condemned for it? You're condemned for having a rally for dead coworkers? Where they do that at? Who the hell complains about giving a dead guy's wife a plaque?
Facts.
Who does that?
And then
Where's the politicizing in that?
And then not only that,
mind you, didn't ask the union for a dime. Didn't ask the union for a dime.
Nothing. We ain't asked them for nothing. And then not only that, like in the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people forgot we had what they call epidemiologist, a person that studied diseases, a virologist.
I remember.
Virologist.
I was real sick.
We had a virologist.
I was real sick that week. And she gave me so much. You was building with her, and I seen things to start taking when she was talking about the vitamin D. You was linking it. She was from Detroit or Chicago, I think.
Yeah, she was.
And I was sick that week.
Mm-hmm. We had a virologist on the show.
Yeah.
Before the union did, before the MTA did, before Cuomo did, we had a virologist to teach us about this disease, how it doesn't affect kids as much as it affects adults, and social distancing and masks. She told us about this before anyone on Progressive Action TV.
Whole fact.
I need you guys to donate to the Cash App, man. The Cash App is Progressive Action 100, man. Progressive Action 100. Let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing.
Donated. I just sent my bi-weekly donation.
I appreciate it, bro. I see it right now. But we need. Let's continue to what they say: like who like you, support who support you. You know, you guys give away your union dues every month and don't hold them accountable. At least we're accountable. We proactive. We ain't reactive. You know what I'm saying? We putting in the work from our tools. You know, but yeah, Kemp, we've been on for a while. I'm starting my to be honest, like my abdomen is hurting. This is another thing from the COVID. For some strange reason, it feel like at times, like whether I'm talking or not, it feel like someone punched me in my diaphragm. And that feeling is so uncomfortable. I don't understand. Like ever since I had COVID, I've been having that problem, and it becomes real uncomfortable at times. And right now it's becoming real uncomfortable. And I really wanted to do like a 4-hour show, but I'm physically not going to be able to do it. In fact, in the first half of the show, I didn't do a lot of talking. Kemp was doing a lot of talking, and the other guy was doing a lot of talking. But being that I'm talking now, it's starting to take effect. But you know,
get some rest, my brother. Tomorrow's another day.
Definitely,
thank you
I'm taking a couple of days off from live. I gotta get myself together. Unless something crazy happened, then I jump on from my phone. But thanks for calling in, my brother.
Go to the bank, fill up your tank. Go to the bank, fill up your tank, and you know, just a couple of things of water.
That's a fact.
If you got that ratchet, you know.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a whole fact.
That's a fact.
Be well. I'll be good with you.
I'll be good, bro.
Peace.
All right. Y'all heard what Kemp said though. Look, the elections is next week. If Biden win, there's going to be anarchy and chaos, I believe. If Trump win, there's going to be anarchy and chaos. Listen to what Kemp said. If you got a couple of thousand in the bank, grab that. Fill up your gas tank at least 2 days before the election. Stock up on water, whatever you need to stock up on. If you in a state where you could bear arms, you better get some more ammunition and protect yourself. Family first, health is wealth. Once again, don't forget to donate to the platform. The Cash App is Progressive Action 100. The PayPal is Progressive Action, and you can also sign up via Patreon. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. We did a lot. We touched on a lot. And catch you guys later.